Tulnar, guys, the underworld dwellers.
Okay, so the Tulnar is a playable race in Ashes of Creation. The Tulnar fled to the Underrealm to escape the corruption that befell Vera. Now, the Tulnar is a combination of 4 major races and many minor races that were left behind on Vera after the apocalypse. This was previously stated to be 3 different races. Tulnar stands for the Forgotten. They are not restricted to the Underrealm. They eat many things, and they are not a result of corruption. Were the Tulnar a result of corruption in their creation, or was it purely a kind of, crossbreeding between the multiple minor and major races that existed in the Underrealm during and after the apocalypse? They are not a result of corruption, so there is no corruption that was taken into account during their creation.
Yep. So it looks like you'll be able to
Okay.
play them before Alpha 2 should be in the game. So there you
Yeah.
go. So
The
the
Tulnar is the only race with the capability to adjust their racial appearance in a significant manner. Tulnar race does not have subtypes. Instead, players will be able to customize the appearance of Tulnar characters. Players will have dials to adjust the reptilian, mammalian, humanoid, and other attributes of their Tulnar character in the character creator. Mammalian Tulnar may have snout features, fur, and inverted knees. Reptilian Tulnar may have more circular eyes and head shape, and scaly skin. Tulnar do not equal furries.
Yep. Someone asked about that.
Okay, I would never have gone there, but there are bestial components that can be scaled up when creating a Tulnar character. Tulnar do not equal furries, but there are definitely some bestial components that you can scale up when you're creating your Tulnar character. So you could max that setting, I guess. Whether or not that would give you what you would think of as a furry, I guess is going to be up to your interpretation of what a furry is.
Yep.
So the question, will character creator allow us to make Tulnar that might look somewhat like kobolds from Pathfinder or D&D? The answer from Stephen was, I wouldn't say exactly, but there's definitely elements of kobolds that you could incorporate in a character creator with the Tulnar, yes. So they're going to be really interesting to create, those Tulnar. Tulnar have a starting area that does not involve a divine gateway. Points of interest exist that represent Tulnar NPC structures in a similar fashion to the starting areas around divine gateways. Tulnar have the same option of starting at any of the divine gateways as other races. So they have the same option of starting at the divine gateways. Their civilization, though, within the Underrealm has also begun to explore the surface. Unlike the other races, the Tulnar won't be returning to Vera. Instead, they will be returning to the surface from the Underrealm for the first time in generations. So therefore, the Underrealm itself does not have a divine gateway.
Yep.
Because they never left.
They never
The
made it.
Underrealm, nope, they never left. The Underrealm is a rich environment where bioluminescence abounds in the fauna and flora that exist here. These deep caverns and underground valleys provide new destinations for civilization to develop. Bringing the node system into the depths of the world may awaken darker creatures than the surface. The expansiveness of the Underrealm itself is quite large. It does persist across a lot of the playable game area that's above ground. So there are alternatives in the Underrealm for passages and traversal throughout the world. One of the aspects of the lore behind the Tulnar was that in the pantheon of gods that exist, having foretold the future through the goddess of fate to the goddess of creation, these areas in the Underrealm were created to allow for refuge for which the gods knew would be left behind that couldn't make it to Sanctus. So that was a pre-thought there in the creation of the Underrealm to facilitate that realm where refugees could seek. We plan to have the Underrealm really pervasive throughout the game itself, a part of the open world. It will introduce some unique elements such as the type of monsters you see, the type of top crops you can grow, and the houses you can have. So their lore. Long ago, the world of Vera was besieged by a great calamity brought about by the primary antagonists of the world, the ancients and the others. A corruption befell the land, twisting and perverting every facet of nature, spawning hideous beings of every description, from troll-like creatures to towering behemoths. Nothing escaped its touch. Granted by divine intervention from the goddess of creation, much of the population fled Vera through towering gateways, seeking refuge in a world void of magic, the world of Sanctus. Some unlucky citizens didn't make it through the gateways in time and fell back to the planet to fight for survival. Soon after the exodus, the gateways dimmed and became dormant. Centuries turned to millennia, burying them beneath myriad calamities. Over eons, history became legend, then even the great legends were at last forgotten. The Tulnar evolved as a combination of the four parent races that were left behind on Vera.
Yep.
So there is more to read there, but it's probably a lot more in depth.
Well, it's based on lore, so we did that
Yeah.
last week. So if you guys want to take a look at that a little bit more, but take a look on YouTube. And I think, let me see if this actually works.
So they don't really want to right now show us all the combinations. There's, some outlines and some shadows, but they don't.
Yeah, so you can kind of see. Well, I mean, you can kind of see the other races. Like this looks like an orc, but it's going to be probably mixed with something. Maybe like an
Yeah.
elf mixed with something. Now this right here looks like a dragon. So I want to see exactly what the lizard people look like. So that'll definitely,
And there's some that look wolf.
yeah. And then, yeah, like I said, you have your
That's kind of
underrealm,
pretty too.
right? Yeah, I was
I
showing
know.
that. Some of the wildlife right there. To me, this screams out like Pandora from Avatar. So,
Kind of screams Meadowin too.
right.
That's, yeah.
You
We'll
can't
have to
really
see.
see this one, but yeah, as you can tell.
I don't want you to.
Alright, it's all tiny.
Can't make
Alright,
it bigger.
so that was the Tulnar, like I said. Definitely, and I think the reason why Tulnar is kind of like, um, there's stuff about him, but it was one of the actual goals for when they were doing the fundraiser for this, the Kickstarter for this was Tulnar was like, if you hit this match, we'll get a bonus race. Thus, the Tulnar was born. So,
I
all
can't wait to
right.
check that out. The character creator. Because, if I can make something pretty, who's to say Meadowin won't be from the underworld?
Yeah, you never know.
You never know.
All right, guys, and we are back. It's definitely needed after 2 hours and 40 minutes. So, but you know what? This is going to give you guys videos for the next week. We're going to be chopping this one
Lots
up.
of videos.
So,
You won't have to sit through all of this in one shot or search
no,
through.
exactly. And again, before we start back, thank you guys for watching. If you like what you're seeing, please press that follow button. If you do subscribe, that is extremely appreciated. It helps us expand what we're doing. Also on our YouTube channel, if you like our videos, please like and subscribe on there. It's just going to help us grow, and the more we grow, the bigger we get. Like I said, exposure, right? So, anyways, I guess let's get to racial appearances. So some of this, me and Missy were just talking, is going to kind of repeat itself, what we just said. So we're going to kind of hop through it, but we don't want to hop through it all the way. But like the dwarven appearance, facial hair is characteristic of the Durin, not the Nakua. Talked about that already. The female dwarven beards will not match the males. They're going to be more little braided. versus the whole, man beard, So the Tulnar, as we said, the appearance, they'll definitely be different in the sense that they're going to, because they've crossbred, right, over 1,000 years, the major races and other races. That's why you get reptilian, mammalian, humanoid, and other attributes. So I think the reptilian one, I think it's going to be pretty cool. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how that actually, I hope they don't do it like Elder Scrolls does, because it looks very weird. It looks like a human wearing a lizard helmet. Just, I don't know, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good, right?
That's a bit weird.
Yeah. Also, they do not equal furries, so we'll say that again. Because Steven doesn't like furries, it doesn't seem like, I don't know. So the artistic influences, we'll go over this real quick. So we almost want to say alien, but it's, I think, alien, probably. Would you say
Alien. I would say alien.
Alien, yeah. So as a French medieval influence, the Dune era of a Nordic, almost Celtic too. Empyreans Greco-Roman, plus spikes. Plus spikes, yeah. Kalar, European racial influence. The Nikawa is Polynesian, which I think is actually really cool. I have yet to see that in a game.
Yeah.
The Pai Navajo, Native American influence, so it's really cool. Woodland inspiration. Also Greco-Roman, so their basis will be Greco-Roman, just like the Empyreans, but it'll be more woodland themed. Which now that we're looking at these, Missy, I have to say, so there's going to be like a basis, and then whatever your race is, it just kind of adds to it. It's like a flavor. It's like a flavoring to it, That's what it seems like.
Except the dwarves, because they go from stone and mountains to Polynesian, to island dwellers.
But the square
but they're
is still there.
blocky.
Yeah, the blocky. Yeah.
Like, even though their shoes are, sandals, they're blocky sandals.
Yeah. Veyloon, or the Middle Eastern racial influence. That's pretty cool. Like I said, two different sides there. And the Vec is the Mesoamerican racial influence. So yeah, it's like Aztecs, Incans, stuff like that. So that'll be pretty cool. It says you will see the different races that are available from a player character standpoint. A lot of different influences that reflect many cultures in the world, not just European, not just Africa, not just Mesoamerican. These cultures are going to be present in many of the races, which I was thinking that the whole time. I'm like, they're taking real world races and implementing them in a way that would be in a fantasy world. And to be honest, the way that the fall happens, you go through the Divine Gate, as you guys will find out in the lore video, is they go to a world without magic. It's plain Jane world. It's like Earth, right? It's like if we were to have left, like Missy used to be an elf, in this world in Vera, and she had to leave. She came to a place that you had to snap rocks together to create fire. But now that we came back, now you're learning you don't need to snap rocks to create fire. You could just say, fire, and it just, it goes. Going back to Steven here, the idea is just to find a base component in the real world as a starting point, and then to begin to fantasize, which I think that's cool. I think that'll bring us in with it more, because we're coming from a plain Jane world, a COVID world, to, we're going back to a fantasy world. So that's pretty cool. Of course, racial mounts. Each race has a unique mount. I don't think they've specifically given that. I mean, other than humans, yes, a horse, basically.